Sync it up. Oh, yeah, this is our footrest. 1, 2, 3. We're out here. We're back at it. I'm here. Man, just one of my favorite people to be around with. You know, I'm here with Grady Pruitt. And one thing I enjoy. Okay, so like Victor chopped me up about it when I had him over because I had just woken up at like 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he sits down and I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. I've been walking around since I got up, so it's been a little rough for me right now. And he's like, did you just wake up like an hour ago?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I appreciate someone who can. It's like, yeah, hold on, I need a moment to wake up because I also woke up an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, like I love an afternoon nap. You know what I mean?
Really appreciate it.
Like I like to sleep like in 2 like 3 hour to 4 hour chunks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
It seems more efficient, to be honest.
Yeah. Like I could never just sleep for like 6, 7, 8 straight hours or whatever.
I know.
So I like to sleep like I always stay up really late. Mm-hmm. So like I'll like sleep from like 3 to like 7 in the morning, mm-hmm. and then later on in the afternoon from like, you know what I mean, from like 5 to 7 or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I will like I'll wake up in the middle of the night. Like I'll wake up around like 3 a.m., be up till around like 10 a.m. But even I get to see the sunrise. I'll walk my dogs, I'll even force myself to work out, and then have that hard nap at around 1. Wake up at 5-ish, and then go get my stuff done at the evening. You know what I mean? Like, because that's just how my schedule's set up.
Yeah,
it's like pretty nocturnal, and I'm like, I don't know. Honestly, I get scared if I sleep longer than more than like 4 hours because I just think like, oh my god, are they going to kill me this time? Is it this time? I was like, what? I can hear tapping. I was like, oh, it's my doggy.
Yeah, I didn't hear, so I just got like a lick on my hand. It frightened me quite a lot.
Oh yeah, there have been times before I had the bed frame I just had on the floor where you ever really get that real fucking sense of just like something's wrong, something's here, and I'm like just like I'm all bundled up, and I just feel something's off. I don't hear anything. I don't feel anything. It's just I don't know. I just turn up and then this vicious fucking beast is just like I'm like yes, and then I don't know, like dogs just horrified the fuck out of me. You know how like sometimes I'm like rolling around in the middle of the night, I like wake up a little bit and then I just feel like a presence next to me and I'm like, I hope that's a dog and not someone who just broke into my house, murdered my whole family, just cuddled up right next to me.
I almost every night wake up in a fear that someone's standing above my bed. Like it's like a constant fear. Yeah, I always think it's happened. It's never happened once, but like I always have this like really intense feeling that someone's in my room,
right?
And they're watching me. And then like you ever get that like sleep paralysis?
I was just about to ask you, like, have you ever gotten that?
Yeah, the sleep paralysis where like you can't move or say anything or whatever, but like you're still kind of like trapped in your dream/nightmare.
That bullshit started happening to me like super recently. I never felt it, never like really understood what it was, and then out of nowhere, it just started happening to me as just an adult. Like the first time, it's like it sounds stupid because it's a joke, but it was just like it sounds like a joke because it's so stupid sounding. But like I swear to God, like I was sleeping on my stomach, which I normally do, and I'm like about to fade away. You know what I mean? I'm about to like just fade out and go to sleep. And I just feel the sensation of like someone like, like just like someone just like kind of grabbing me like this.
Yeah.
And like, you go through a million thoughts a second in your head. You can think a million things like real quick. So I'm like, oh, someone's fucking with me. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't live with my siblings anymore right now. Like my siblings aren't home. No one's fucking with me. This is getting tighter. And then like, I just feel like more pressure on me. And I just remember just being like, and like, they say like you're yelling in your head, but I remember just wake up and being like, you know what I mean? And like I just don't know that fear, that true fear of just like being just getting dry humped by a demon I can't see. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and
it seems to be the more you panic, the worse it gets. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Apparently I learned you got to start trying to like wiggle your fingers and toes. Mm-hmm. Like that's the first thing that you got to start trying to do to like snap yourself out of it.
Yeah. Like I realized that for me, it only happens when I'm on my back. And then it feels like someone's like holding me down like that, like just my wrist. And I just have to, like, it's also, I try to make myself laugh. And in my dream, because I just want to be like overly aggressive, like fuck off. Like literally in my mind, I'm yelling, fuck off, bro. You ain't about shit, blah, blah. Just getting real hype with the whatever the fuck it is. But I can imagine me just being like, and then you know what I mean. I just don't get that shit. I don't like dreams. They freak me the fuck out. You know, did your dreams come back way harder when you tried to be sober for a little bit?
Yeah.
Is that shit like mad intense?
Yeah.
I would wake up thinking I had like fucked up my probation the next day because it felt so real. I just don't like that my mind can have such control over me like that. You know what I mean? Like, what is depression, anxiety, and dreams? All it does is make me sad.
Right.
Sips beer.
Yeah, they came back really vivid and like what I always really hate about dreams and everything is like, of course, like the sleep paralysis and the demons and shit like that. But I always hated when like random people that I haven't thought about in like 12 years like show up in my fucking dream.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? You're like, oh, you know, that girl that I sat next to in 7th grade math. Why is she in my dream now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're
like
like,
why
what
are
the
her
fuck?
teeth falling out and yelling at me?
Yeah, and I always thought as a joke to like DM on Facebook and just be like, you were in my dream last night. You're like, what?
You know, that actually did happen once for this chick I hadn't talked to in years. Just messaged me like on Twitter out of all things. She was just like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, but you were in my dream last night. What do you think that means? And I'm like, I think it means I'm blocking you because you're frightening me right now.
That's crazy. I was actually having a conversation similar about this with Victor and Tess for Galt, and we all three agreed, and I'm glad because I used to say this all the time, and people would look at me like I'm fucking crazy. But Tess and Victor agreed with me on this, that like, I, even if I'm married, I would never want to share a bed with someone else. I never want to share a bed with someone else. I don't understand it. Like, people look at that as like a bad marriage of like, oh, like they sleep in 7 rooms. I'm like, yeah, that's how it should be.
I
know?
I feel like that's a true understanding and respect for your partner's boundaries.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like I haven't had like a serious like steady relationship until like very recently, and even then I'm like, no, 2 blankets. I have like 5 pillows on my bed. You get 2, I'll get 3. Like I need my own space like that. Like like I will share the bed, but I do need my own thing to be away. I wake up randomly in the middle of the night. Like no, like your sleep is something that like no, if you can't it's like one girlfriend would just try to wake me up in the middle of the night because she woke up, and I just feel like that's the most disrespectful thing you can do to somebody.
That would infuriate me.
Like dog, like because I just it's so inherently selfish to just like you literally will die with lack of this. Your hair will fall out. You will go mad if you don't get proper sleep regularly. And this person's like, but I'm up right now and I need you to be with me. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
I'd rather sleep with the fucking demons that are trying to hold me down and dry hump me than wake up in the middle of the night and talk to you right now.
Yeah.
Lady.
How codependent are you? My God.
Yeah. So like, I'm real big on like the whole, like, look, my parents would do that too. It's like their master bedroom is big enough to where it's like, okay, there's a bedroom, but then there's a separate little office thing. Dad, you sleep there because you snore like a motherfucker. That's what my mom says. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you ever just be in a bad mood and grumpy and angry and you're just hating everyone for the rest of the day? Why would someone put that on you? Like,
yeah, and it's like I have my own weird sleep patterns. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, I want to watch the TV now. Like, I don't want to like, I want all the covers and the pillows. Like, I don't want to be like in the back of my head going like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to have anyone else in my mind, and I can never fall asleep well or get good at sleep when I'm sharing a bed with someone. Absolutely. Because it's something
just not
hanging
on your mind. There's something hanging on your mind in the back. Because it's like also, God forbid your fucking throat tickles and you just want to be like, and then they're like, and you're like, were they just about to fall asleep and I just woke them up? And you're just constantly like, I can't even make a noise. It feels like you're in detention. You're just like, I have to fart like really loud right now. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you know,
and
what I mean?
move around. I might kick. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. And then like, and I also think it's more like exciting if y'all are like having different rooms. Because if y'all like go to hook up, it's like y'all like sneaking into like the other person's room or whatever. Like it brings you back to that like, oh, like we're doing something.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, it's like it goes to the thing where like a couple should be able to just like I don't have to text you 24/7 when I'm not there and we're not hanging. Like it gives me a chance to like, it adds some like air of just like I get to miss you, I get to be away from you, and and that air of just like, ooh, it just seems like I'm just sneaking into someone's room late and it's like, hey, you up? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just adds some more fun to it. Like, you know, people think whenever you want to be progressive and change things up, they think it's like, oh, just dyeing your hair blue and getting septum piercings. No, it's just sleeping comfortably in my own fucking bed. That's so fucking wild.
Yeah. And it's like I like to cuddle, but it's like I want to cuddle and then go. When it's time for me to sleep, I want to go somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Honestly, because there'll be some moments I'm just like, come here, okay, all right. Okay, let me get my arm back. I want to turn over now. Like, I will even have to turn away from the person if I'm sleeping next to them. And like, some people might see that as like, it's very impersonal. It's like, oh, it's like really serious body language. You want to turn your back to someone? It's like, no, it's how I fucking sleep. I sleep with my face to the wall. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't want to like just wake up. You ever wake up and someone's just there? Like, no, I'm not into it.
Oh shit, yeah.
I don't know. I just think, especially like, people are just more into like huge like self-care, this and that. So I've been reading up a lot of like just how important sleep is. You know, it's like we all watch Joe Rogan, even though we don't want to admit it. And he'll have like a sleep expert on there who's selling a book. And you're just sitting there thinking, he's just sitting there, it's like, dude, like the guy who's writing the book, like we're just slowly killing ourselves. Blah, blah, blah. We just like this 4 hour at a time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, how do I get my girlfriend to watch Joe Rogan and understand that she's wrong is what I'm asking. You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, well, now Rogan's become so popular, it's like easy to hate on him. You know?
I know. It's like, God forbid I get to do a stupid reality show and then like a dumb sitcom with hilarious people like Phil Hartman and whatnot, and then just like do this for long enough that people will care about it.
Right.
What a prick.
Yeah.
You know what, Joe Rogan, I'm coming for you. You're 3 hours and some change
calling
away.
him out now.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know nothing about that. What is it? My girlfriend trains in jiu-jitsu, and that's like grappling. And I like to tease her. She could probably most definitely beat my ass. But like grappling, that stuff, you know what I mean? The stuff that's like tackling from the ground. I'm like, bro, that shit's gay. What you gonna do? Tickle me to the ground, bro? Let's just box. I don't know how to box either. But you know what I mean? I just love antagonizing people who can beat me up because I'm like, what are you gonna do? That just shows a lack of discipline and training in your sensei because you blew up on my dumbass. You know what I mean? Just get people with like mind fucks as I'm just trying to be a coward about it.
I literally just started watching like UFC within the last like year or so. Like I started like watching it a little bit, and like I don't understand what their pain threshold is. Like it's ridiculous. Like I was watching this fight, and this dude Jan, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, but he punches this other dude named Reyes, and he punches him square in the nose, and his nose literally like almost moves, like it moves over, and it's like completely, and then he hits him right in the same spot in the nose again, and I'm like, I would have cried and went home,
bro. Like
like
if you get your nose flicked like that, it's enough to like at least shed like a tear. Like you know what I mean? Oh god damn it! Or like to have like the fucking gall to like just kick someone in the face and like with your shin that rock into someone's like head. I'm like, dog.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that thing that people do where they hit shins just to make them stronger? I'm just like, that pain threshold is just...
Yeah.
That's why you hear fighters say all the time. It's like, would you want your children to be doing this? Why? Do you see these cauliflower ears right now? This is god-awful. I mean, we're talking about them a lot already. Twice is too much in my taste. But Joe Rogan's like, oh, yeah. You're just fucking up your brain, and I'm like 20, and I don't want to keep losing brain cells and my cognitive ability because it's just constantly just getting your fucking head rammed in. It's
such a brutal way to make a living. It's fun. I was watching Hot Ones, that show Hot Ones, and they had two fighters. They had Israel Adesanya and then a boxer, Anthony Joshua, and they were doing like the last dab where they just eat like the spiciest ones. Yeah. And it didn't phase either one of them. They're like, oh, that's pretty good. Like, and you're like, oh yeah, they don't feel pain.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't feel pain, whether it's even get punched in the face or like eating hot sauce. You're like, their body's numb to like.
It actually fucking frightens me. I'm like, what gives you pleasure anymore if all your fucking sensation is gone, you weirdos?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I love my kids. I'm like, do I have to have every nerve just beaten out of me before I love and be able to face my children?
Yeah.
I'm not calling you back, okay? The kids are yours. I'm sorry. We do bits here. We have fun. Sorry. But, speaking of Hot Ones, is I may not be a fighter, but I could at least say I have grabbed the sauce of the last dab and just sipped it straight up and then didn't faze me. But also, I practice to do that because I'm so delusional right now. And I'm just like, okay, there are people out there who have only done one open mic and they already start a comedy website. I think I can just say, hey, maybe one day I get to be on Hot Ones. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me dream a little bit. So like, I like forced myself, especially when I worked at that wings place, to eat like the hottest sauces there. And I just like have the palate of a coal miner who can't taste anything anymore. And I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's literally like on my Bumble account. I think one of the questions is like, what's one of your life goals or whatever, something like that. And I put to be on the show Hot Ones.
Yeah.
Like, to me now, I feel like that's like established stuff. Like, you've officially made it in whatever field you are. Like, if you go on to Hot Ones,
for real, because they
it's
have
like
literally
certified.
everyone, like rappers, actors, everything, blah blah. It's like just really cool. That dude, it's like they always talk about it. Like his interview skills are so solid. Like, at what point does he need to take away the wings? What's his name? Sean Evans. Like, he's super fuck. Those like half the time when he's asking questions, they will reply, "That's a really fucking good question."
Yeah. I mean, that show would suck if it weren't him. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, if it weren't him asking all those really good questions. But I think the wings definitely do add to it because, like, especially like certain people that you can tell kind of like closed off and probably have been doing like press junkets over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. Once the wings start getting hot, they start like their guard gets let down and they start being like kind of like more honest and shit like that.
Yeah, like some people, like, was DJ Khaled dropped the personality for a second. Riff Raff dropped his personality and he was just like, Jesus, this is hot. I'm like, what happened to the way you were talking before? Like, you know?
Yeah.
One thing that did break my heart is to see the people who couldn't cut it. And Mike Epps let me down. He ate like 3 of them.
He ate like 4 or 5.
And he's like, nah, man. I'm like, bro, I used to think you were cool. Like, at least, I mean, it's part of the bit to suffer at least a little bit. 4 of them? Like, it's like sriracha, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Put that shit in soup.
Yeah, there was a couple. I think Gaffigan bowed out or whatever. But like, I like spicy food, but it's like I like a little spice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like once it gets to the point where you're like that, I feel like you're just ruining your food at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, who the fuck eats that?
Yeah,
you know?
Like you're not taking a bite. You're just sitting there hurting yourself and sweating in between every bite. I get that.
Yeah.
For me, I think I doubled down on like just going ham with spiciness and this and that because like I grew up as a chicken tender and fries kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't start eating veggies till I was like 20 and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't be like this forever. I got to change. So I was just like, bro, I used to straight up. My friends would be like, hey, let's go out and get wings, and I would get just fucking plain like chicken tenders or just chicken things, like just plain. They're like nothing.
Yeah.
You know, the whole act of this is to like get the sauce and do this, and you're just eating pieces of chicken. And I didn't realize until I've ordered like several different sauces from wings places that I was blatantly doing crazy psychopath shit. You know what I mean? It was like me telling you, oh yeah, my hobby is to cut out words from magazines and write letters and send them to people to freak them out. It was like basically I could have told you that, and it was like that's how freaky it was to me. It's like, who just eats plain chicken wings at a place?
Right.
I don't know.
See, I actually think I'm the opposite. I think I was like more adapt to spice when I was a kid, like because I remember like in like I guess like middle school or maybe even early high school, like going to like Buffalo Wild Wings, and I would like get the blazing or whatever just to like see if I could eat it and everything like that, and like I could or whatever, but like now I don't know if I could do that like right now. You know what I mean? Like I remember going to this crawfish place. What was it? It was Wolfie's. It's like one of those restaurants where like they get all the girls to like dress with their tits out and everything like that.
Wolfie's, okay.
Yeah, I think that was the name of it. And you know, like a Twin Peaks type of thing, you know? And I ordered crawfish, and my biggest complaint with crawfish is it's never like spicy enough for me. Yeah. Like I'm always like, let's fucking, you know what I mean? Like let's ramp it up. So they had like whatever, they're like 5 spice categories. And I was like, I want the hottest one or whatever, but I'm like, make it hotter. You know what I mean? Like whatever this is, like I want it more. Right. You know, like, yeah. And she was like, okay. You know what I mean? She's like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, and then like, I didn't mean it this way, but like, I think it came off as almost like a challenge. You know what I mean? Right. I remember challenge to the chef.
I remember once you told me, it's like, I don't mean to sound the way I sound sometimes. I just have a dry delivery and I just look the way I look when I talk. You know what I mean? And I just asked for like, can I have it a little, basically what you were saying was like, hey, you know, like that spicy, can I just have a little bit more spicy, please? I think that would be nice. But the way she took it is, yeah, you know that spice with your crazy eyes like that, one up above that.
It's not shit. Yeah, I need it ramped up. And then like, so I don't remember, whatever, I got like a couple pounds of crawfish, and it comes out, and I'm like, you can barely even see the craw. It's like just caked in spices and everything like that. And I was like, all right, I mean, like, this is extreme. I remember like, I'm like 3 crawfish in, and I'm like, my face is beet red. I'm like pouring sweating. I'm like, my nose is running, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm almost making a scene, you know what I mean? Like, to the point I'm just like grabbing like paper towels and shit. And like, and I remember just being like, I am going to finish this. Like, I have to. And like, I did. I ate them all, and it was a miserable meal. And like, and by the end, I think I'd got like a whole like roll of like fucking paper towels and shit.
All I'm thinking about is just you just constantly wiping your nose and it being dry from just wiping it over and over again. Okay, I have to ask, because this is half the reason why I like spicy food, because I like to consider it a cleanse because of the aftermath. How did it feel coming down, like going out?
Yeah, actually, I don't remember like what the shit was like or whatever.
Because like there have been times where I've like, oh wow, that you could feel the spice in both mouths coming out. That's wild. I've had that.
I think I was young enough. I was probably like 18 when I did that. Like at that age, like I don't think anything affects your shits like that. At least for me, like just because like you're so young and healthy that like it's like being a college student and being like, I don't understand hangovers. It's like, well, yeah, because your body still loves you. Yeah. And also, I was my parents weren't health nuts, but they definitely were like conscious to like like I ate pretty healthy, always had like vegetables and fruits and everything like that, you know what I mean? Like I was like I ate healthy growing up or whatever, so like I don't think it was much of a problem.
I feel that.
But yeah, that was a nightmare of a fucking meal.
Well, at least you proved to that goddamn waitress like, okay. And I'm like,
I think that's part of the reason why I like spicy food is I love a challenge. You know what I mean? Like I love being able to be like, can I do this? You know what I mean? Like, what can I put my body through and everything? Like, and I just like be able to like prove to myself that like I can do something that like I maybe didn't think I could do.
Right. I mean, I understand that because it's like, I mean, nothing is better. Like no win feels better than a win out of spite. But also, like I think
it's my whole comedy career.
For me, also, it's like I love winning out of spite. But it's like if I at least try something, and I'm sitting there just if that would have been me and I couldn't finish it, and I'm just sitting there just like spiced up and being a blubbery mess, and someone just like laughing at me because I couldn't do it, I'm like, at least I tried, you pussy. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, at least that's my cop. I was like, at least I could try. You wouldn't have even dared. Well, yeah, because I know myself. Yeah, you're a pussy. I had to find out because I'm awesome. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm a pretty sore loser.
Yeah, the guy that won't even attempt. You know?
Oh, yeah. Like, you'll make fun of anybody all day about, like, doing the stupid things, but it's just like, I mean, you're just too scared to admit that. I'll at least admit I'm too frightened to do certain things. Like, the people who, like, stand at the edge of buildings and have the camera in there, and they're just, like, doing that shit, and they're just like, oh, my, why? You're fucking stupid for being up there.
I don't understand that at all. I'm like, you have a fucking death wish, man.
Oh, God. I can feel it, but it's like, but it's like, I get it. It takes talent to do that. I'm impressed. Get the fuck down already before you fall down. Like, Jesus Christ.
There's this video. My cousin always puts it on. He like plays music over it. We're hanging out at his house, and it's this guy who is on a not a skateboard. Was it a longboard? I guess is what it'd be called.
Yeah.
And it's in like the Swiss Alps or something like that, where it's just this crazy mountain. It's steep and it's windy and everything like that. And he goes all the way down it on a longboard, which like at certain points he's picking up to like 50, 60 miles per hour, like on a fucking longboard and everything like that. And he's coming, and then he's got to like, I don't even know how he does it, where he like scoots around like corners or whatever.
I've actually seen what video you're talking about.
Yeah, and like sometimes you see like a car coming, and you're like,
he nearly fucking misses this shit.
Yeah.
And what pisses me off about those videos is that like if like because like I've ridden lawnmowers before. If you go just fast enough, you'll get the speed wobbles thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, the board itself wants you to fall off and fail, and he's just fighting through that, going in the 50s and 60s. Like, bro, you're rivaling a car speed. I'm like,
yeah,
there's no brakes on this. There's no seatbelt on this. You're just gonna fall the fuck off.
Several times, it's a mountain. He almost like goes flying off the mountain. You know what I mean? And you're like, I just like I almost have to like turn my head when I'm watching that. I'm just like, why?
I
You know what I mean?
I bet that guy would look us dead in the face and be like, "Oh, I could never go on a stage and make jokes, though."
Oh, right. Yeah. The fear of public speaking.
One, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And public speaking is also such just like a made up fear. Like, it's not. You know what I mean?
It really, I don't know. It's just something. It's just like, oh, I don't know what people are gonna just do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. It's like, I mean, they could easily tell us, it's like, well, it's not scary. Just look over the side of a really tall building. I'm like, well, that makes more sense to be afraid of that than just like saying, hello, everyone. This is why this.
Because the stakes are real on that. You could fall. You could fall.
Yeah.
The fear of public speaking is all in your head. There's no real danger. There's no like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Maybe someone yells at you, someone gets heckled or whatever. But like, it's what it is it is unnatural. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why, especially when you first go on stage, like you kind of want to like cross your arms or something like that. Like, it's unnatural for a group of people. You know what I mean? And then you're almost being exposed by like standing up there. You know, but like, I got to be honest. That fear went away pretty quickly doing stand up. Like, I would say maybe the first month, it was really like having to work myself up to like go on stage, and like it was like really scary. And then like that shit goes away pretty quickly. I feel like to where like you can go up there and at least like not be super nervous about that. I mean, you might be nervous about like your joke's not working or like, you know, failing, but it's not like, oh God, like, you know, talking in front of a group of people.
For me, like, since I did theater growing up, it was like, I talked to, Abby on the last podcast about it, about like whenever you just like do performance and anything enough that there is a moment where as soon as like they say your name and you like take that step on stage, like your kind of brain just kind of switches that off and you're just like, I'm just here to do it. I think for me, my thing that was hard about just going up there and doing it was like, I can get up there, but it was also like, oh yeah, I got to bomb a lot before any of this is really good, was getting used to that. But also that went away pretty quick too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ever just like get a bomb at the wrong time and it's just like you just crack really hard?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I've just like, it was like a testament to how, like, I guess I've grown as a person, that I'm sitting there. It's like, look, I'm upset right now. And if I act a fool and I'm just being ridiculous, it's because I just understand. I just feel like a loser right now. So if I act ignorant, just know I'm sorry. And they're like, okay. And then they just allowed me to have my tantrum. And it's like, I recognize I'm wrong. I'm still going to do it. But you know what I mean? I don't know, that's where I'm at with my growth.
If I really fucking suck, like if I really bomb a set, I'll be so mad, like so furious. I'll always leave immediately. I'm like, I can't even stay here because my blood is boiling, and I'm gonna go off on someone. I'm gonna be really mean, like aggressively mean to someone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, my favorite thing to say is like, I'm no good to anybody right now. Yeah. I need a dip. Yeah, I get that.
Just walk it the fuck off. I remember like screaming. I don't know how many times like I've just like screamed in my car, like driving along, like just yelling at the windshield and shit like that. Just like, fuck, why'd you do that? You could have stayed home. You know, just like
it's like the once upon a time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio, when he fumbled the line.
Favorite movie scene of all time.
He's like, duh, 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 duh. Yeah, I'm like, that's exactly how that shit feels.
8 goddamn whiskey, sirs. You couldn't stop at 3 before you had that, right? That's literally my favorite scene of any movie of all time. Like I have that on my YouTube playlist. I've probably watched it like 50 times. I love it.
Ever spoken to my soul so fucking beautifully other than that scene.
Yeah, and then I love it like when he's looking at the mirror, which is like essentially like he's looking at the audience. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the way like that camera angle is. And he's like, "You gotta get it right, or I'm gonna blow your goddamn brains out." Oh my God, dude! That scene is beautiful.
As the kids would say, relatable. You know, like that. But also, I feel like, you know, people might be like, "Well, that's a terrible way to handle your losses." I'm like, hey, at least I can do that and acknowledge that was bad and feel bad about it. Like people just do stuff and they just do horrible nonsense. And they're like, they're good.
Yeah,
they killed me out. I think that was good. And I'm like, why?
Oh yeah, that's a delusion. I don't know what to tell people when they fucking do that shit.
What is it? I would say like I said, like my hardest thing wasn't What is my camera's about to shut off, so I'll just start it off with the next one. We'll be right back. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're back again. What was it? Okay, so like I was saying, like I'd be, because of how like spoiled my dogs are, it's like I'd be that parent who would like spoil his child to death and then wonder where I went wrong, just like my parents did. And I think and it's a testament to just like how I am as a person, because like I left it off a little bit, and I told Abby about this in the last podcast a little bit, touched on it briefly, but like I would say like my life, I mean, I had an older brother, got my ass beat, knew how to fight, stuff like that. My mom was mean and like, but like funny, clever, mean. So I knew how to not get my feelings hurt, stuff like that. But also at the same time, my friends, my family were like, Jamal, man, you're funny. You could be an actor. Like, you could do this, you could do that. And then I go out and sign up for an open mic and just realize I've been lied to my entire life. It's like finding out like God isn't real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like coming out of Mormonism and stuff like that. You know, and that's how it was for me. So it's just like, that was an uphill battle. Just realizing like truly, it's cliche. And I like to tell people it's like, especially with something like just stand up or just writing in general. And it's like, if you're selling yourself as the product, just to realize you are the shit, but you ain't shit all at the same time. It's about being the best and being humble. I would say like, so I had to realize I wasn't cool and realize I was pretty lame, and then and then refight for it back. And I like the person I've become. So you say like you got over the fucking stage fright, the public speaking thing. Like, what was like the biggest thing I would say, like you would say, you know?
Man, I think it sounds cliche, but like all you can do is get on stage a whole lot. Like, there's really no way around that.
Yeah.
And the more that you get on stage, the better you get. And then like you can see yourself improving. Then other people start to see you improving. You start, getting recognition from the other comics and like people you looked up to in the scene.
Yeah.
Start getting booked more, and then your confidence just naturally grows. Mm-hmm. So like it literally was just like, I mean, I was going up to at least 2-3 times a night, like pretty much every single night of the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like impossible not to get better unless you're doing that. But it's funny you're talking about like how like you were funny with all your friends, and then like you started doing stand up and you realize you're not. But it's like no, you probably like you are and were really funny with your friends, but doing stand up is just a different muscle.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'd be like, say like you're super athletic. You're like, all right, I can like run fast and I can jump high and all, everything. I'm super quick, but like, then you're like, okay, well now you're going to play baseball.
Right. Go from basketball to baseball.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, yeah, being athletic and everything like that, it's going to help you play baseball, but like, it's still a whole different skill
set of rules. That actually never has been put that way to me ever before. And wow, that was like very, very insightful actually. Goddamn.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So yeah, it's not that you weren't funny. It's just like now you're trying to learn this new thing. Mm-hmm. And also the fact of the matter is, if you're doing stand up and you're around comedy, not only are you going to get better at stand up, you're going to get just funnier as a person because you're hanging around a bunch of people that are like funny, and like you're constantly thinking about comedy, and like you'll just naturally get funnier. You'll learn to tell stories better.
That
you know what I mean? You'll
true.
Become quicker. Like,
you're absolutely correct.
Like,
I see friends I haven't seen in forever. Like my high school friends are like, God damn, Jamal, that comedy thing must be really working out because you're sharper than ever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You definitely your wit or whatever literally grows.
Yeah,
true.
You're a lot sharper, I guess. No, and then like you said, like eventually it's all about just keeping going. And I remember there was a distinct moment where it's like the friends I would go to open mics with would stop coming and signing up with me, and I would have to go alone. And then out of nowhere, it was just like some people just being like, "Hey, I like that one thing you did," and all of a sudden everyone's, "I like that one thing you did," and it just switches. So it really is a testament, just like, yeah, of course, like just put your head down, grind, put your nose to the grindstone, all that stuff. Because there are people, without naming names, there are people who just like, you see like they're there all the time, but it's just like, okay, you're putting in the work to be funnier, but it's just not happening. Do you think like also like there's some self-awareness and some mentality stuff that goes into that?
Oh yeah. I mean,
because it's like you can go to the gym and just be there all the time, but you're not lifting weights properly or at all.
Yeah.
And so of course you're not going to be jacked. It's not. Yeah, it's like going to the gym without working out.
Right.
Yeah. I answered my own question. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, if you're going out a lot but you're not actually focusing on your set, well then yeah, you're not going to get better, because the thing about it is I feel like a lot of people, they're kind of more in it for like the social aspect of it, like you see someone like they're all hanging out, having a good time. They go up, like they bomb horrifically, don't even seem to like self-reflect on it at all. Just go back to hanging out and having a good time and drinking or whatever. I'm like, did you even think about your set?
Yeah, like why?
Did that even bother you that you did poorly? Did you
come out here
you?
to do that?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I just want to hang out with these guys as long as I just get this bullshit out of the way real quick.
The set's almost in the way of you hanging out or whatever. And like, I get it. Like the hang is fun as hell and everyone's drinking and having a good time and it is fucking fun. And like, you can get like wrapped up into that, but it's also like, you got to remember, like, I mean, why are you doing this? You know what I mean?
We're here for a reason.
Yeah. Are you here because you want a social circle? Or are you here, like, because, like, me, like, I won't mince my words. Like, I'm trying to be a professional comedian. Like, I'm trying to make it where, like, this is how I make all my money. And, like, I want to have, like, a fan base where I could tour and sell out venues and make specials. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. So, of course, I want to hang out, have fun, but like ultimately, like I got to take care of what's going on stage first,
It's almost like you kind of like, not to like glorify like what it is, but it's like you kind of have to earn that hang because like they got to be there and chill and be like happy because it's like they were there working on it. Like we're all here, we all know each other because like man, it's just nice to see other people doing it, working on it, actually doing it. But it's just like, bro, you can't. Just it's like muscle into your group. It's like a new person who just started signing up. It's like, I do this too. Can we hang out? It's like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
At some point when you lose sight of like the goal, it's like, hey man, it's like just checking your friend, as just like life goes on and progresses. She's like, hey man, like, do you remember like what this is all about? What the goals were? Like,
yeah. And I get it. Like people can be like, oh, like the comedy scene is cliquey or like it's cold. And I remember having those thoughts when I was like brand new. I was like, damn, like people seem pretty cold and uninviting and everything like that. I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And then like you realize you're like, oh yeah, like it is cliquish, and the clique is funny people like to hang out with other funny people. Like that is what the clique is. You know what I mean? Like, and if you establish yourself on funny as funny, very quickly you get invited in or whatever.
Right.
Like it really is that fucking simple. And the fact, so I've been doing this since the summer of 2016, so however long, whatever, do the math on that. And like you just see so many people come and go, and like you see so many people that like, you know what I mean, fizzle out and everything. So it's like, I have no interest in like going out of my way to meet every new person that comes to a fucking open mic. And I'm also like,
I've had someone who's very new like get mad at me, and I was like very drunk, and I yelled back at them. Because it's like, bro, you haven't been doing this that long. And they're like, I've been doing this for a year. I'm like, no, the fuck you haven't. Because you started on Zoom and you've only been doing things on stage for like a few months. You know what I mean? So it's like, sorry, I don't want to add you and be your friend and stuff like that. Can I know you're going to be here for like more than like a few months or a year before I open a whole space in my mind and heart for you and blah, blah, blah? Because it's like these people I used to just see. It's like with just certain people, it's like, oh man, like these guys seem really cold. And then once you break that threshold and realize, and like they realize, okay, he's about it. They're one of like the sweetest, coolest friends you'll ever have ever.
Yeah, I think it's just like
it's a reason to be guarded.
To see people that are proven that like, oh, they're taking this seriously, they're working at this, and they're getting better. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, okay, like that's someone that I want to surround myself with. Because there is like comedy, like it attracts a lot of like really cool people that are like, oh, wow, they care about this thing as much as I care about this thing. Or we're all trying to work and get better at it. And, and you can have like that good friendly competitiveness where it's like, oh shit, like Trey has a new 5 minutes. I got to write like a new 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And like that kind of thing where like y'all feed off each other. And then there's some people that like join comedy and you're like, oh, do you just want like your ego confirmed? You know what I mean? Do you just want people to tell you that you're great? And like,
it's like going to a random office and like just hanging out by the water cooler because that's where cool conversations happen. You're like, do you even work here, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so out of place. Like, we had to work here first to get to know everyone and blah, blah. I just realized like, it's probably exactly what it is.
And I'm also, we're the same age, right? I'm 26.
I think, we're like a month apart.
Yeah. And like, I already feel like, even though we're both young, like I kind of already feel like I already have all the friends that I want to have.
Swear to God,
Like
yeah.
I have all the friends that I like. You know what I mean?
I don't
have
need
my
to meet
circle.
more new people.
Exactly. I don't need to, I've no interest.
It's not even a fucking factor of being like I'm comfortable. It's like no, these people will keep me challenged and growing. Like I don't need any more fucking curveballs into this fucking weird existence that is this ever growing thing that is a career I'm trying to build.
Yeah, and of course, like if you just happen to meet someone that like you really like or whatever, it's like yeah, you're gonna become friends with. But it's like I'm not going out of my way like to like make new friends, new connections. It's like nah, man. Like I got my group, I got my circle, I got the people that I fuck with, and like I'm pretty content with it.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, they even say it like other like in like the fucking pros in their podcasts, whatever. When they talk about comedy, like in its early days, it's like, oh yeah, like once you're like really grinding and blah blah, and you find those people who are also vibing, like finding your friends, your class of people to be with, like shit is fucking that is real. Like it is real to like finally break that threshold of like having people be like, hey, dude, come here, that was pretty funny what you did, and then like it's like having the threshold, you broke that threshold of. Like okay, cool. Now I got my fucking clique.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have your really close inner circle, like your three friends, 3 comic friends that like, or whatever that number is, that like you can be like unapologetically honest with them.
Yeah,
with like everything, whether it be like, you know what I mean? Because like, you know. Whatever, talking shit about people that you might not think are great,
right.
Or like, you know, a lot of times, you know, comedy does build resentment and spite and jealousy and all that stuff, and like you don't want to be the person that's like on Facebook doing that shit, or like out in the public at mics and shows being like some bitter, resentful spot or everything. But like with your friends, where there's no judgment, you can be all of those things and kind of like get it out of your system and off your chest and everything like that.
It's like I would say in a group chat where someone's like, it'll be a joke where someone's like, hey, can I add someone random in this? Like, no, this is like my house.
Yeah.
I'm here to say things unfiltered and blah, blah. It's like being in a group of friends. Like, no, I'm here to be unfiltered. You know, what's the like, hey, this stays between us type shit. And it's like, that is just like an unspoken thing. Yeah. It's like, it's like, it is to get those crazy things and being like, hey, so what about this new thing that's happening in the scene? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, you need that. You
Absolutely.
need that. Like, yeah, like I have a chat with Victor Radu and Michael Dede, and if that were to get released, like we would all be banned from the scene. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like God forbid like you. What if magically like a Bluetooth was invented that your thoughts got projected on a speaker and you're just like, oh no, I'm never gonna work in this town or at all. I think I'm gonna be lynched for this. Like, you know?
Yeah,
I get that, and I think that the idea of just like, no, this is my house. Like, you know, when you're in your house, like I'm at home. We can do whatever the fuck we want at home, and I'm at home with you guys right now. Okay, so it's like this isn't for everyone else to just randomly get invited to, and yeah, I get that. I mean, it goes back to the like, well, you kind of like to. Well, it's like any relationship. It's like it takes work, and you got to earn that shit. You know,
right?
It's like, okay, so the guy who just randomly decides to sign up at an open mic and thinks someone like you should automatically be his friend because like, hey, I signed up. I'm a part of this too. We should be friends. Is the same guy who just buys a random chick dinner and it's just like, she deserves or has to sleep with me. I deserve that. I bought her dinner. What else is there to do? Like, no, buddy. There's a lot of extra steps in between what your goal is, and like you're not going to do the bare dumb piece of shit minimum to get there.
Yeah, no, you're not owed anything.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you're trying to make like essentially what is a luxury into like a career. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to make something where it's like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're an engineer where like comedy is like needed. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know what I mean? It's a luxury and you're trying to make it to where like this is like a fucking career. It's like, dude, you're not owed shit. Whether that's like spots on shows or, you know, festivals or like even just like being a part of the group. Like you're not fucking owed anything. Right. You know what I mean? Like you have to earn it. And like honestly, like if you just get good on stage, like all those fucking opportunities will open up.
And it's really true. That's very true. Because I think like the people like just coming from my own experience, I would say like, because I was like, I think I'm like 1.5 years. I think I started 1.5 years after you. So it's like you, and also you're like, I don't like to float people's balls here, but I'll be real. I'm drunk. I've been drinking enough. I'll say, you know, you are funnier than me. I am prettier, but you are way funnier. Okay, we gotta have some picture. You know,
that's honest. I'll agree with that.
Your hairline's better, but my eyes look normal. You know what I mean? So it's like we got some things trading off here, but it's like I forgot even the point I was making. I was just too busy being funny there for a second. But it's like no, because like. Man, what were we talking about? I'm just happy. I was hyping you up. You know, I just felt good about that. I'm never positive on this show. You know what I mean?
No, it's a nice switch, but I like how you still had to neg it. You know, something.
Oh, exactly.
Still had to throw in a little bit of an undercut. But
you know how it is.
I respect it.
That's I mean, yeah. I just wanted to go. That's just good writing, buddy. Like, you know what I mean? No, but I sometimes me just saying no, but is the search I need to find what the fuck we were talking about, and I keep saying it, and it's not coming.
I mean, I definitely knew, like, I had to be funny. Like, that. Like, so I tell people, like, I had to be funny because I'm like, all right, like, wasn't that good looking, wasn't amazing at sports. I tried really hard at sports, so I got, like, decent at it, but I wasn't, like, a naturally gifted athlete. And and some people are just naturally cool. Some people just naturally have, like, this air of, like, they're fucking cool no matter what somehow.
Yeah.
I wasn't that either. So I was like, man, I got to find something to where people are going to like me and I have a chance to have sex. You know what I mean? Right. And you're like, funny's really the only thing left on the table. You know what I mean? Or I guess get good at a fucking guitar or something. You know what I mean? But I was like, I think I probably have a better chance of getting funny, you know?
You know, when you make that joke, it's like, I chose funny. I chose wrong, but I chose funny. It's like, you're absolutely
It's very
correct.
real. Yeah.
It's very real. Because, like, bro, I have instruments here. What is it? I have charisma. I'm charming. But I just suck at comedy sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's, I guess it's a trade-off between it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it? What? Oh, man. You're pretty, like, okay, for our circle, of people that we hang out with, you're pretty solid at basketball, I would say. You know?
Yeah,
because, like, in a group of unathletic ass people, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, amongst comics, I'm pretty incredible at basketball. To like an average, you know, like if I just go to like LA Fitness, I'm one of the bottom tier players or whatever. Right. But like, yeah, going back to the set, like I grew up playing basketball, like from elementary school all the way through high school. And same thing, like I'm not naturally athletically gifted. Like I can't run fast. I don't jump particularly high. Like I'm not like, you know what I mean, a naturally great basketball player. But like I loved it.
Yeah.
And I cared a lot about it. And I practiced all the time. I had like a pretty strong work ethic.
I mean, let's be real. You could copy and paste what you're talking about with comedy. And that's just
it's like, pretty similar. It's like the same thing. I kind of just switched from basketball to comedy or whatever. Yeah. So I got decent at basketball. You know what I mean? Where I could play at like a varsity high school level, but I had no chances of going to play college or anything like that. But now I haven't really played in 8 years, you know what I mean, consistently. So like if I do go hop in a game at LA Fitness, those guys play 4 or 5 times a week. They're like,
that's their thing.
Yeah, they're way ahead of me. But like, you know, yeah, if I'm going to play against a bunch of other comics that don't play as much as you probably, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I can.
You think there's different courts, like there's different rooms to do open mics at? Like you think LA Fitness is like I don't know, secret group on Sundays, or
yeah,
and then like what is it? The park is like Darwin's, you know, because like, hey, we can be out there late and it's a little grimy, but you know it's fun.
Yeah,
like
I definitely do miss, and I mean, there's different LA Fitness, and sometimes like I'll just depend on what part of Houston it is. It's like I'll be at a different LA Fitness, and like there's certain guys that I see like every single time I go in there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, are you just like traveling around Houston, going to different LA Fitnesses and playing basketball?
In the pickup basketball scene?
And they take it so fucking seriously. Like I made a joke that I saw like 2 guys like swapping a jersey after a game. You know what I mean?
The fuck?
It's not true, you know, but like it's like they're like that fucking competitive with it. And a part of me is kind of like, I kind of think it's kind of weird to be like that into like pick up basketball. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
it's like trying to strive to be the best open micer there is.
Yeah.
I kill these rooms, dude. You mean those 5-minute spots, number 20 every other night, including bumps?
Yeah.
I crush these rooms, dog. I don't see you out there putting your weight in, Grady. It's like, oh yeah, because I'm playing games, bro. You out here playing pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
But I do miss like when I was playing like really consistently, like when I was like 16, 17, 18 or whatever, like, cause I am like a goofy looking white dude, is like, I loved going into like different random open gyms
Yeah.
and everything and courts, and like no one want to pick me up because they're like, that guy looks like the manager of a team. You know what I mean? Like he looks like the towel boy. Like there's
up in this situation.
There's no way that guy's gonna. But I would finally get on the court or whatever, and I, you know what I mean, was decent. Like I loved being able to like turn like a whole quarter and be like, holy shit, that guy scored 7 straight points on us. You know what I mean? Like that guy can actually like fucking play. Like I love doing that at like, I even did that like a little bit at U of H. You know, like played like intramurals and shit.
Man, you were like the king slacker underdog champion. I didn't know I was like looking forward to. Like, you know what I mean? You're like I could pray to you every other Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. I remember like one time we were talking about something. I just being like, damn, Grady, like I thought that slacker lifestyle, whereas in like just like I wouldn't say doing the bare minimum, but you're just kind of like I like what I like and I'm rolling through the things that I like and I'm trying as hard as I can when I can. I'm just going with the flow type thing, and sometimes I'm crushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I think if that one dude who I hate very much, Pete Davidson, is the king of Staten Island, I think you're the king slacker, man. I don't know. I don't know. I like. God damn it, you're inspiring.
Well, like I have like a strange work ethic where it's like I'm very lazy in the fact that like it's impossible to get me to do something that I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Like it just goes against everything in my body. Like I'm so lazy in that way. But like when I latch onto something, I don't stop. You know what I mean? I become like obsessive with it and everything. And that's what I did with comedy, where it's just like I cannot stop. Like I'm writing all the time. I'm getting on stage as much as possible. Like it's like it takes over or whatever. But then like, you know, I'm like the worst employee ever. I feel you know, like I am absolutely like when I worked at like Potbelly, I would, you know what I mean? I'm just like you can't get me to care about this job. I'm a fucking sandwich artist. Like, are you kidding me? And like, I have a bit about it, and it's true. It was actually probably like the first good bit I ever wrote, where like my manager's talking to me. He's like, "We here at Upper Managers like feel like you lack motivation." I'm like, "Oh, we're at a fucking sandwich shop. What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? Like, why would you care about this job? That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, aren't we all just going through the motions here?
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? Is this your dream? It's not my fucking dream.
Yeah.
You know? And like I would work slow as hell, and my job was I was a delivery driver. So like you know, like big catering
as a former
orders.
Delivery driver, that is the bare minimum easiest job you have to do.
By far. And I would just load up all the sandwiches in my car. And here's what I did. And I was very smart because I did this from day one. I would go and make my deliveries, and then I would just like walk around. Most of my deliveries were like the medical center, and I would just walk around Houston. I would spend an extra like 45 minutes like cruising around, like walking around. You know what I mean? Like fucking around. Like, what the fuck is in this building? Like, you know what I mean? And walk around, and then I'd be like, all right, it's probably been about 45 minutes an hour. And then I would go back to the shop. Well, then they would go, oh, that's how long it takes for every single time I go out to do deliveries.
That is awesome.
You know what I mean? So like every day I would spend an extra 45 minutes to an hour fucking around, and you know what I mean? And I did the same thing. They asked me to do the dishes once. It's about an hour long job to like do all the dishes, everything. That I took 3.5 hours to do it. And I said, if you ever ask me to do the dishes again, that's how long it's going to take. So,
right.
You know,
set that precedent right the fuck away.
Yeah, like just be like if you're such a bad employee, they will not give you any responsibilities because they're like, that's going to be a problem if we have Grady go do that. And I would do shit like I would stock the chips, you know, and just take 2 hours. It's, You know what I mean?
You know, it just
I'd move
shows
as
me
slowly
it
as
just shows
possible.
that everything I would do was wrong because, like, I would say everything I would try to do, I would try to do maximum effort, even with shitty jobs. Because, like, just recently, well, not recently, a year ago, when the pandemic started or whatever the fuck, and like I was still on probation. As soon as I didn't have to work anymore, that part of my brain that could like all jokes aside, that part of my brain that could switch on and be like, let's grind, let's do this, come on, just fucking went away, and I realized, oh, this is stupid. I don't ever want to do this ever again.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just like, oh my God. And I realized I didn't have to put all that effort into it. Like, and you telling me, I was like, I would always wonder about those employees who would just never get fired.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The Grady's that what I would work with, like the dudes who were just like, man, it seems like you don't do a lot, but like you just never get fired. I'm just like, I just realized I was going about it all wrong.
I was always shocked that they wouldn't fire me. Like I was like, I would have fired me. You know what I mean? Like I'm terrible. But not only that, I had a bad attitude. I was mean. I was nasty to the other employees. You know what I mean?
Not only was I lazy, I was a fucking prick.
Everyone hated me. You know what I mean? For good reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they'd be like, "Hey, Grady, can you go to that?" I'm like, "Fuck off." You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like everyone hated me. But here's how I avoided not getting fired, or at least in my mind, how I never get fired. Always on time. Never missed a shift.
Wow.
Never missed a shift. Never called in. On time. Every single time. And when someone else would drop a shift, I would always go pick it up.
Complete opposite.
I would pick it up. I was on time.
Opposite. Wow.
Always pick up other people's shifts. Never called in. So like I was terrible at my job, but literally just did enough to not really have a fireable offense. You know what I mean? You're like, he took too long to do the dishes. I mean, it's not good.
You're like the bummy dude dating a hot chick, and everyone's just like, he's not really doing anything. I'm like, but sex is just okay enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's kind of all right. Like you're just doing. It's just like, so he's going nowhere in life. He's like, yeah, but he's there.
Yeah.
He's just doing just enough, like the perfect amount, which fucking pisses me off. Because like I would work my ass off every time I was at my job. But like I would crush it when I was there, but sometimes I'd be a little late. And if anyone I would never take time off, but if everyone needed me for a day, you couldn't reach me if I wasn't at work. And I didn't realize, oh wow, I was just putting my energy and effort in the wrong goddamn parts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? God damn it, that pisses me off.
That's what I would do. Probably the worst thing that I would do is anytime there'd be a really bad lunch rush,
Yeah.
I would go take like a 30-minute long shit.
God damn it. I know you. I've
Yeah.
worked with you before. I've worked with
And I
people
never
like
actually
you.
had to take a shit. I would just go sit in the bathroom and scroll through like Instagram and Twitter for a while, and then be like, all right, but that thing's died down. I go back out.
my favorite thing.
Like, I mean,
to come
everyone I
out.
worked with hated me. Like, hated me.
My favorite was to come out whenever like you're just like, all right, like, I'm high as hell. I have like a weed pen, or I just get really high, and I come back and everyone's like, where the fuck have you been? I'm just like, phew.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be any help around here, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
It almost makes me miss working, but I'm at that point where I've like extra like doubled down on like, okay, like I really cared about working the random jobs I would get. I used to sell instruments at Guitar Center, and then I became a bartender for a little while, and then waiter, and sometimes, and I'm just like, right now I'm kind of like managing people's like company social medias, like just every now and then, like I'm working on a gym social media, but I don't care. I'm at that point where I'm like doubling down. I'm just like, sorry, I'm gonna be very mad bummy and just like thrive off the little money I make off podcasting, comedy, and like Spotify on my music and stuff like that. I don't have the threshold for that normalcy anymore. I don't know what that means. Like, is that progress? You know, it's just like, all I want to do is focus on like comedy and the things that I want to do, but I'll miss a phone bill if I have to. Like, is that healthy? The determination is there, but my execution might be a little off.
Here's what I've done. I've just figured out how to live on such a little amount of money. Like, it's crazy. It's almost like a superpower with how poor I can be and still manage to like exist as a human being.
I get that.
You know?
People always compliment my outfits. Never bought a single pair of clothing since I was like 19. Like, you know what I mean? It's all given to me by my older brother, who's like getting fat. So like that's one of my life hacks. And then I just get that. Yeah, just like try to live as poor as you can. Like, you know, I get that. It's like, you know what? what is it? Since I still live with my parents, like my dad will buy the groceries and I teach myself how to cook. I'm like, cool, I can eat at home and then just be starving all day the rest of the day and then get drunker faster because like I haven't eaten since I left home, you know, because I can't buy food anymore. I don't know. There's like certain life hacks that I'm trying to figure out myself now that you say that, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I love that. That's a smart one. Not drink all day so you can get drunk quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember when you
some real
texted
alcoholic
me?
Shit.
You texted me. It's like I'm gonna eat real quick and I'm gonna head over. Like yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I never ate. That's why like I'm 2 beers in. I'm just like man, Grady. Yeah, you're speaking the truth to me right now.
True that. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. We're back into it. All right, so it's like at least around the third segment, I actually like treat this like a real interview where I'm just like, hey, let me ask my guest about themselves, I guess.
Oh, okay. I like how you choose to close on that.
I love that because it's like, bro, if they cared about that, then you know, I mean, if they really truly cared about that, they would get to this part at least. But I don't know. I just feel like that's just my with the 3-segment thing. I'm like the first thing because I'm used to doing this by myself. And I'm still trying to figure out how weird I am and how I come off to other people. So I'm like, okay, first segment, let's just let them get used to whatever it is that's going on. Because you know how many times people ask me, what's the format of this? What do you guys do here? And I'm like, we just talk, dog.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get drunk together. So, lately, it's been people watching me get hammered. You know what I mean? I'm just proud of myself for being able to at least momentarily keep a coherent conversation going. And the second one is us like going back and forth and really being even. And the third one, I'm like, all right. What book you trying to sell right now, Grady? What's your book called? Come on. Well, I guess right, I was telling you earlier, like people who have podcasts say, I was telling you off mic, but yeah. I was telling you, I was like, I'm at that point right now where I'm just like, all right, I'm tired of hosting stuff.
Yeah, we probably recorded 2 hours off mic.
Swear to God. And that's the fun part of it. You know what I mean? One day I'll get there.
Saving all the real shit for off the podcast.
Exactly. Because it's like, all right, we still have careers we're trying to make out of this, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, God damn it. I'm hammered. But,
you're hosting, warming up.
Yeah, okay, thank you fucking so much. You got me there. So it's like, so at the point I'm at, I'm tired. Like I love hosting, like mics and stuff. I remember like the other day, like you were just on the porch. It's like, yeah, you won't catch me hosting stuff no more. Like I can't do that anymore. Like you know what I mean? Like or at least a mic at the like I just won't catch me doing that anymore. And I respect that because like I remember like one time because me and Henry Price would host the Sunday mic together at Secret Group, and I remember it was just a really rough night, and he was hosting, and I was just like there, just waiting for my spot, and he was like, "Are we paying our dues anymore? What is this?" And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you know, because like I'm still asking myself the same thing. So I'm like, right now I feel like I'm just like, I think I'm good enough to like just be an opener for stuff. I don't want to be everyone's hype man. I'm like, when they gonna hype me up? That's where I'm at in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm figuring out if I'm truly there or not. Where would you say you are right now? Or where you feel genuinely?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did host an open mic for like a year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When I was it was the Sunday mic. I used to host the Sunday mic at the Secret Group, and it was a motherfucker. Mm. By the way, God bless open mic hosts, because it is the most thankless job in fucking comedy. Yeah, it's usually going to take hours. You know what I mean? You don't really get to have much fun, other than maybe a couple jokes in between comics. You know what I mean? If you got something to say. Yeah. And then, you know, people just hate you. People bitch all night and complain, you know what I mean, about their spot on the list. Why did this person get to bump? Why can't I bump? You know what I mean? Yeah. And you don't really get paid that much, maybe a couple free drinks or whatever. Right. And yeah, you just get bitched at constantly. It's a brutal gig, but it is like, I do think you should do it. I think every comic, I usually say once you're about a year in, you know what I mean, host an open mic or whatever. And I do think it is somewhat paying back to the scene or whatever. Like you've absorbed all this stage time. Yeah. This is your way. And it does make you stronger as a comic and everything. But it's a rough job. And yeah, now I'm like, you're going to have to pay me a lot of money to do that. You know what I mean? You're going to have to pay me a lot of money because, you know, I just, right now I'm at the point where like if you're gonna book me on a showcase or whatever, if it's a bar show, I probably only want to do it if I'm headlining it.
I feel that.
You know what I mean? Like I
You're
want
not
to
doing a showcase spot.
I mean, if it's a showcase spot, I'll do a showcase. You know, like because Avant Garden doesn't have a headliner. You know what I mean?
So showcase is different. Than,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, it's just like whatever, 5 comics each doing 10 minutes. But if it's like, you know what I mean, like a showcase, like where there is a headliner or whatever, like I don't want to host. I don't want to feature. Like if it's a bar show, like I feel like I've established myself enough in Houston and Texas that like I should be closing it out. Like
I feel that. Yeah.
I should be the headliner. You know, sometimes if someone's like, oh my God, like someone dropped, can you come over here and like feature or whatever? Like, yeah, I'll do that. You know what I mean? But like, I'll also tell people like, just cause like, I don't know, I'm at the point where it's like, I want to be able to do 45-minute long sets, 45-minute to an hour long sets, you know? And I want to do those as much as possible. And I feel like I know I've established myself in the scene where I could do that. And then whatever, when I do club work or whatever, yeah, like I'll host or feature at a club and everything like that, like the Improv.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It fucking matters. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I probably don't want to just feature on your bar show.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. And the scene is like, I want to be able to build up to where I have like a really strong, like hour-long set.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. I get that. Because like, I'm like few sets behind where I'm just like, okay, like I don't want to be the host anymore. Can I just like open for people and just also or be features? Like, you know what I mean? Because like I have that time as well. So it's just like, I don't know. It's like. When do you cross the line between like, all right, maybe I'm being a little too full of myself and knowing your worth? Like when do you feel like you know, cuz I mean for as far as I feel like it's not asking the world to be like, hey, I think I've hosted enough. Can I like just open for something, or can I just do something else other than just being the fucking MC at a party? You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's unrealistic or unreasonable, you know what I mean? At what point?
Yeah. I mean, like I started realizing like once you just set that precedent, like people just like ask you to do what you've already done before. Essentially, it seems to be like, you know what I mean? So like if you're on the flyer as a guest spot or a feature host, whatever it is, people are just going to continue to ask that. Like it's amazing. Like once I started headlining, and then I feel like headlining is like, I should be clear, like I'm not headlining weekends at comedy clubs. Like I'm headlining
you're just
local bar shows.
Just doing the longest and last set at the show. Yeah.
Then I started getting way more offers to like, hey, can you come headline this show? Can you come headline? And they're like, oh, like you get just viewed as differently. You know what I mean? So yeah, and now like if someone does want me to feature whatever, sometimes I won't do it, or I'll be like, all right, like I'll do it as a favor, but like you can't put me on the flyer then. Right. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be promoted that I'm like featuring or opening it up for someone else or whatever. You know what I mean? Because then like people be like, oh, well, I can go get him to feature on my show. And it's like, no, I was doing this as a favor. I still want to headline your show. You know what I mean?
Yes. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like from your perspective, if someone was just like doing way longer, and it was just like, what was it? What is it? We're all just like on the porch somewhere, just like talking, and I was hearing you guys talking about like club gigs and blah blah blah, and like just talking about like, I'm like, yeah, this is different level shit. Like I kept my mouth shut and listened. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I was just like, I really like, you know, just like just that knowing your worth thing. You know, it's just like I know I'm beyond this without being too arrogant. It must be like a weird place to be in, because just like, okay, like I know I'm not being an asshole. Yeah, telling these people like, all right, I don't want to do your feature thing. I know, like, you know, because it's, I mean, some people just get offended at you just acknowledging, no, I know what I'm worth. I want to do this, right?
I've also had to have the you know, like maybe lost a gig or two because, you know what I mean? I just set a precedent that like this is what I want to do, you know? And also like, I mean, I don't know, call it arrogance, call it whatever you want, but like I'm very confident that I'm going to do a good job.
Right.
Like if you book me to headline, like I'm going to give a very strong set. Like obviously, like I don't have a following, I don't have any TV credits, but it's like
You're trusted to do good.
I can do very well for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are going to leave enjoying the show. You know what I mean? Like I'm confident in my ability to do that. So yeah, I just like made that decision, and then talking about knowing your worth is because now I'll get asked to do certain gigs, whether it be like a private event or to go do this headline some out of town show and everything that, and now it gets to the point where they ask me, what's your price? You know what I mean? And like, depending on the gig and how far it is and everything like that, it all, and how much time they want me to do, like it all kind of determines it. And, and I'll usually play, like, I'll value myself well. You know what I mean? Like what I think is like worth it for me to go do it. And I've lost gig that way too, is of like asking for too much money and then another comic coming and like undercutting me and like taking the gig for way less money,
of course,
you know, which would infuriate me. You know, like I remember this one gig and they wanted me to come headline for like $50 for like an out of town gig to do like 45 minutes for like $50. And I was like, absolutely not.
Doesn't even cover gas.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to go do that. That's crazy. And then like I saw like friends of mine like take that gig and I'm like, how much are they paying you? They're like $50. I'm like, don't say yes to that.
Because
you know what I mean?
Keep doing that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because then that sets the precedent. They go like, oh, it's okay to, you know, pay comics fucking nothing. You know what I mean? To come do a gig. I'm like, dude, put value on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because then when I ask for a reasonable amount of money, they're like, no, we're going to come get this guy do it for $50, you know? And I'm like, and if that's all they have for the budget, they need to talk to whoever, the bar owner or whatever. They need to get a better budget so like people can actually be paid. You know?
Yeah.
That shit pisses me off of like comics accepting dirt cheap, and it's like, yo, bar owners talk to each other. So like if they are figuring out, oh, you only have to pay them this much, oh, okay, well now you've set the standard for like that whole area of now we're all fucked.
Oh, we can just pay them in exposure, these people.
We're all fucked because you undercut everyone, you know what I mean, and took a gig for way less than what it should be, you know?
Right. Man, I feel that's really insightful, yeah. Or it's like, because it also allows people who think they're doing what you're doing. It's like, well, I could just pay this nobody to just go up there for 40 minutes and just ramble on, and they equate that to the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? It just kind of belittles what it is that you've fucking worked to do.
And if whatever, you're a bar owner or you're just trying to put on an event, and you know what I mean? Like, there's no way they have like an intricate knowledge of the comedy scene, and who's good and who's not. You just want a comedy
night. This isn't a club,
and everything like that. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to charge you this amount of money, but I'm also going to put on a very quality show, or whatever. Where someone else might take it for like way less money, and I go like, all right, well, you're going to get a $50 show.
Swear to God,
you know what I mean? Like you're going to get a $50 quality show. So you know what I mean? I don't know.
One, two, three. Okay, we're back, synced in, everything like that. So, I've been drinking a lot. No, but so you're saying, well, what are your? I would just say, just before we close it out and stuff like that, just like, what are your motivations? What are your like moves next? Like, what do you like? Definite. It's like, okay, this is like my plan next. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean. You know, my plan pre-COVID was to move to New York and, you know, make that push. Then I got a DUI, which fucked up those plans. And then the pandemic happened and everything, which kind of like oddly kind of worked out in my favor, just in the fact that like if I would have moved to New York and then the pandemic happened, I would have been like furious. I moved out here and now I can't even fucking do the thing that I came out here.
They're not even allowed to eat at restaurants there. So much, like, you know.
So in a weird way, that actually might have kind of played in my favor. I could like stay here, you know.
It also helps that everyone's moving to Austin.
Yeah, so I definitely felt like I've kind of reached like the maximum of what I can do here in Houston. You know, I'm like, all right, I've done all the shows. I've headlined all the show. You know what I mean? Like I'm at this point, I'm just going up to the same places.
You've been there, done
over
that,
and over and over again, and I am getting better. That's the good part about Houston comedy, is that like we have real audiences at our shows and even open mics and everything. That once you get somewhat established in the Houston scene, you can go up at an open mic and go up whenever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Which makes it way easier. You know, so. But I was like, I feel like I've kind of accomplished everything that I can accomplish in Houston. Like there's no next goal. There's no next step for me here.
Right.
You know, other than just get better, you know what I mean? And like continue to develop material and everything like that. But
you're working out the same muscle. You need to fucking switch to something different.
Yeah. So New York seemed like the natural fucking move. But now like, obviously with the COVID and everything like that, like the whole industry has been turned on its fucking head. And I'm like, is that the move now? Like, I don't know. Now I'm thinking like, maybe I just go over to Austin for a little bit. So
right.
I think I'm gonna start visiting Austin more. I think I might spend at least just like a year living in Austin.
Yeah.
To just see how the fuck that goes.
I think a 3-hour drive away is way less of a fucking risk.
Yeah. And there seems to be a lot popping and going off over there. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of interested to see like, I mean, I would love it if, because as it's been since essentially the beginning of comedy, the only way to get yourself in front of industry is in front of New York and LA. Meaning that's where like, you know, that's where all the agents and managers and casting people and people at Comedy Central.
Now with the way shit works is like TV doesn't fucking exist anymore. People are fucking promoting themselves and doing those managerial things for themselves now. Everyone's their own fucking producers, agents, everything.
And I've spent my entire time in comedy only focusing on the craft. I was like, I just want to like get a good base there.
Yeah.
Like get really good at stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like was really all I focused on. And now that you know, whatever, I spent over 4 years essentially only working on that. You know, now I'm kind of like, okay, how do I figure out the business aspect of this shit? You know what I mean? And now I'm kind of like looking at like, all right, how do I start turning this into like, you know, building a following, getting my name out there and shit like that. And so now I'm just now like, oh, maybe I should have a website. Maybe I should be recording myself. Maybe I should be putting stuff out there and everything. So
it's the complete opposite of the person who just signed up their name like 1 week and all immediately started a last name, first name, comedy.com, you know?
Yeah. I was like, let me have something. Let me have a product to sell. You know what I mean? Before I start trying to sell anything. And I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not. Maybe the right thing is from day one to be like focusing on that aspect of it. Like, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake, but it's what I chose to do.
Right.
You know,
from what I've seen, from my experience personally, is that the things that take longer are the things that are worth it in the long run. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like if people did like certain things like super quick, super early, like they fizzle out quicker. Right. If they get a social network their way to a headlining spot, they wouldn't have been any funnier. Yeah. Because they weren't working on that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think you do have to sacrifice certain things to get better in some ways. Some people can just run amazing shows and just promote the fuck out of show, but then they try to go on themselves and just ruin the whole thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just, you worked out a different muscle, so now you got to train something else. I think with what your goals and mindset is, it's like, well, I just want to be a good comedian first. I think you said it. I think you did the right thing. You know what I mean? That makes sense. And
like, I remember being like a year and a half, 2 years in, and thinking that like, wow, like I should probably be on Comedy Central. Like I should be on JFL. Like I should be getting late night. Like I should be taking that step, you know, everything like that. And I really believed it. And now like I look back now, and I go, man, like, thank God I didn't get those opportunities then.
Right.
Like, I would have
contest,
fizzled
like, pretty
out
early, right?
so quickly. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what boosted my ego.
Would you say that was a detriment, or like it helped, or like it kind of like didn't help?
Helped. So probably like 6 months before I won the contest. So I won the contest a year and a half in. So probably about a year into stand up, I started getting a lot of positive affirmation from like comics that I respected.
Yes.
And everything like that. And like kind of like the more veterans in the scene, I started getting booked a lot on stuff. And, you know, I was doing well. And I was like, oh, all right, like I'm hitting a stride here, you know? And I felt myself for the first time in my life, like, oh, I'm better than most people at this. Meaning like I wasn't good at school. Again, not naturally gifted at athletics, not naturally good at talking to women or whatever. And this is like the first thing where I was like, oh, I pick up on this quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where like I was always the guy trying to like keep up and everything like that, you know, in school or at my jobs or whatever. It's like, oh, now I'm setting the pace. You know what I mean? Like it was the first time I ever felt that, you know what I mean? And I started getting on a, you know, feeling really good about myself, and then won the contest like a year and a half in. And then I thought I was the guy, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I got everything coming to me. You know what I mean? Like it's just been like I've been nailing it. You know what I mean? And I thought, oh, the natural progression from here is I'll start getting put on television.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, I just thought I was the guy who's just like, oh, you're the guy. It works out for you, you know? And then I had a couple humbling experiences and then, you know, realized like, oh shit, maybe I'm not the guy.
Right. Oh man, DWI will do that to you, buddy.
Yeah.
I've had 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
I, you know, I was like, surely, you know, I'll be on SNL and Netflix, you know, pretty fucking soon or whatever. And then, yeah, it did not pan out that way. And I realized, oh shit, there's a lot of other really fucking talented people out there too. And, no one is going out of their way to be like, to find you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like, cause I remember going out to LA, like to do a festival and just like being like, all right, here we go. Like time for me to fucking blow up.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, but I don't know. I think overall that experience is probably good for me, you know, to get kind of ahead of yourself a little bit. And then be humbled, take it back down to reality. You
get to see the potential that could be, but you gotta act right and work hard for it. You know,
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's some mad tough loving. You know what I mean? That you inadvertently had done for yourself.
And what I got confused with is looking back on it now is I thought I was way better than I actually was. The truth is I was good for someone a year and a half in. I was ahead of the curve in that sense. But I was not a great comic.
You plateaued really quick.
Yeah, like there was people way, way better than me that still haven't broken yet. You know what I mean? And I found that out when I went to that fucking festival, and I was watching these other comics that had been doing it for like 7 or 8 years, and a lot of them already had been on television. They already had late night sets or whatever, and I was watching them, and I was like, holy hell, like. I'm not even really close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm really not
almost
fucking close
syndrome.
yet. Yeah. And I remember having that thing of like going there being like, I'll be the best one on this. It was another contest too. And being like, I'll win this contest easy. Like I'll get represented, you know what I mean? And I'll be on the races. And then like watching the other comics and going like, how did I get accepted into this? Like I shouldn't even be here. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck, you know? And yeah, it took me down to be like, oh, okay. Yeah, man, you're off to a good start and you're doing well, dude, but you've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
You've got a long way to go, you know? Because my plan was to go to the festival win it, and then stay out in LA and like move to LA,
right,
and everything like that. And then I was like, oh, I got to go back to Houston. I gotta get better.
This ain't for me yet.
Yeah, I gotta like, I still got some incubating time, you know. Yeah, and now I look at it, I go, man, if I for whatever reason did get a lucky break at that time period, I was like, I would have crumbled. I would never have been able to like, you know what I mean, sustain it and take it to the next level. Like it would have ultimately been a fucking detriment to me, you know?
Well, it's like any like viral video, and then like someone in the viral video is just like, oh, like I got a mass thing going for me. It's like when that bagel guy who got his ass kicked tried to do stand up and it was horrendous. Like, you know what I mean? Like just because you got like the clout to be able to be there and do these things doesn't mean it's gonna be good. And it's like some things you were on the right path to doing, but it's like, hey buddy, not yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot more fucking it's like I can fix a go-kart. I don't think I'm ready for you to change the oil in my car quite yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you got the right makings to be something fantastic, and you're on the path. No one's denying that, but it's just like, whoa there.
Yeah,
it's like that. Well, it's like the thing you said. It's just like I think we've had a conversation about it where it was like you know, when you first start, first thing you're trying to do is this. You know, you're trying to like just like get into it and like figure out, find your place into it, and then you're at this next step. It's like leveling up in a video game. You know, it's like you beat level 1, you have all the powers, you're ready for it, and then you get to level 2 and you're like, I'm not that strong yet.
Yeah.
It's just a constant thing of just doing that, leveling up. And it's just like with comedy, it's just like it's almost like everyone's playing a different game that goes to the same fucking like result, you know? It's just like everyone's just playing it differently.
Yeah.
Different skill sets and everything like that.
And you realize like our quote unquote local scene in Houston is a very, very small pond. It's a very small pond. And I think Houston does get like some talent here. Like I think there's like, you know what I mean, some real deal fucking comics that like, you know, can really make like an impact doing this. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like you go to like, you know, New York or LA or whatever, you realize, holy shit, the talent pool is fucking deep. You know what I mean? Like it is deep.
In a bigger sense, it's that being the funniest amongst your friends and then going out into the real world and signing up for the fucking open mic. It's like that. And
you realize whatever the top 10 funniest guys in all the cities throughout the country, or guys and girls, they're all going out here. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're all going. And you're like, holy hell, you got to stand out amongst the funny people from, you know what I mean? And shit like that. And you're like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So it's like, you sometimes you got to like remind yourself because like, you know what I mean? You can start really feeling ahead of yourself. Like, God damn, man, feeling myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing well. That's why I think it's important for comics, especially if you are in that 2 to 3 or whatever, even 4 or 5 years in, and you're someone that's getting recognition in your local scene, and like, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of like moving up and getting booked and getting a lot of like positive affirmation. Like go watch a headliner. You know what I mean? Like go watch whoever, Tom Segura, or Theo Vaughn or Dave Attell. Like go watch someone that's like a real fucking killer, like a real professional. And then you realize the levels to the shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where you go like, oh, okay, just because you're doing well at your local showcase, your open mics, like you're nowhere close to what the ultimate goal is. And I think it's like it's important to keep that in mind. Yeah. You know?
Just there's always room to grow, and there's always someone above you. It doesn't matter how good you're doing, there's always somewhere to be above that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And and like, you know, and like growth in comedy is like so fucking gradual. You know what I mean? Where like, cause I don't ever like, you never feel yourself taking a leap, but then it's like, you look at yourself now compared to like 3 years ago, you're like, holy shit, I've grown a lot. You know what I mean? I've gotten better, but you never feel it as you're doing it, you know?
You have to like sit there and do some like hindsight thing, because like I swear to God, I found myself thinking the same thing about myself. It's like, I think I'm maybe in a part where I'm doing a lot of little things that are important, but I'm expecting some big result from these things. It's like you're growing, but you're not doing the growing you think you're doing. But if I took the time to think about what I was doing like 3 years before. I was like, I couldn't even dreamt of doing what I was starting to do now. You know what I mean? It is a gradual growth. Like, but you think it's like growing pains. You think, okay, this hurts a lot, but I should be growing a lot too. It's like, nope, you're building some foundations.
Like I remember at the beginning, like seeing like Trey do like a 10-minute long set, and I was like, damn, dude, like you just did 10 minutes. Like that's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember just being like I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I could, do 10 whole minutes. You know what I mean? Like
right.
that seemed like extreme. And now you're like, I'll do 10 minutes in a blackout stupor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like I'll.
Right now I'm in that point where it's like, all right, I could do 10, 15, I could do 20 is fine, you know what I mean? But it's just like now I'm looking at people who can say like, I can just go up there for like 45 minutes and 15. I'm like, oh fuck, that looks insane. You mean I have to do like what I think I can do the best twice? Go to hell. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's different levels. You're always going to look at someone above you doing the thing that they're doing and being like, oof.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge that someone is above you doing something better is the fucking definition of self-awareness and realizing it's like, all right, I'm pretty good at what I'm doing now, but there's always room to grow and go up. Right?
I think it's healthy. Yeah, I think it's healthy. I think you'll always need to like looking to like, try to improve yourself.
Man, I don't know how I do it, but I find a way to hit some like really good, fucking solid, provocative thinking in these podcasts for as lit as I get. Goddamn, Grady. I've had a good time talking to you about shooting the shit. It's like, goddamn, it's just like I don't think I've learned so much in a short hour and a half conversation. Did that feel good for you?
Yeah, man. I am filled with wisdom beyond my years.
I know. Now, if only I can apply this to my goddamn bank account, we'd be there. But it's like use on the Instagrams and stuff like that. What is your Instagram? Grady S. Pruitt or something like that? What is it?
Oh, my handle is it's just Pruitt Grady. That's on Instagram
Pruitt
and
Grady.
Twitter. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, obviously, like Grady Pruitt was taken, so I was just like, all right, I guess I'll flip it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wish I would have thought to do that because like I have JamalRahal Twitter and everything else, but Instagram, I might have something to do right after this. Actually, now that I think about it, hold on, I mean, like I might have to change my Instagram right after this.
Yeah, I love Instagram. Instagram is my favorite of the social medias.
Oh yeah, I love the story aspect of it just because everyone's always looking at the stories. It's like the fun of Snapchat, but without any of the juvenile nonsense of that. You know what I mean? It could be there, but no, I love my story. And
Instagram story, I feel like is the best way to flirt. You know what I mean? Because you can just like, you know what I mean? You can respond to the stories and everything like that, and like, crack a joke or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's such a good in.
Swear,
it's so much better than like even like on like dating apps. Or just
if
like
a dating app had a story options, like bro, like the setup is there. Like,
yeah,
you know what
exactly. I mean? To just like cold DM someone is like very, you know what I mean? You're like, man, like it's a difficult process, but like to just like joke off of something off their story is like it's to me it's the best end. Like Instagram's the best dating app to me.
I swear, yeah. Would you say more people you wouldn't think would hit you up in any other fucking platform have hit you up because of Instagram? Like I'm surprised at the people who would reply to my stories and like comment on the things that I've posted. Like,
yeah,
I didn't think I'd have this conversation thread going, but here the fuck we go.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you? Like just genuinely?
Yeah, it happens.
It's fucking awesome. Instagram's the best that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Instagram's also the best app to have affairs and cheat on people on. I hope my girlfriend never listens to this one. Guys, this is Grady Pruitt. I'm JamalRahal. This has been Cover All with JamalRahal. Y'all have a good night, y'all. This has been really fun, dude. Fuck yeah.